With the teaser for the new Oasis documentary out this week, the one they're calling Don't Look Back in Anger, the story looks like it has come full circle. The film shows rehearsals for the 2025 tour, backstage footage from the stadium shows, and the first proper conversation between Noel and Liam in more than 2 decades. It presents the return as something that finally happened after all the years apart. But the reason that return took so long starts with what happened one night in Paris in the summer of 2009. By then, Oasis had already moved past their biggest years. The first 2 albums, Definitely Maybe and Morning Glory, had made them one of the biggest bands anywhere. Those records carried songs that filled fields and arenas and still turn up on radios and in pubs today. The later albums did not land the same way. Be Here Now had come and gone, and the records after that drew less attention. When the band toured, the crowds came mostly for the older songs, and Noel had said in interviews that he never wanted the group to turn into a legacy act that just played the hits every night while everything else fell away. The arguments between the 2 brothers had already been running in public for years. And in a Q magazine interview, Noel spoke plainly about Liam. He said he didn't like him and described him as rude, arrogant, intimidating, and lazy, and called him the angriest man he'd ever met. Liam answered back in NME, saying it takes more than blood to be brothers and that the 2 of them did not like each other. Once comments like that started appearing in the music press, every new interview added another layer. So the working relationship was obviously already strained before they reached the summer of 2009. There had been problems on the road as well. Earlier that August, the band had to cancel the second night of the festival after Liam pulled out and said he had laryngitis. Noel later said he believed it was more to do with a heavy night before the show, and these incidents kept interrupting the work. The pattern was clear by then. Small disputes and absences kept getting in the way of the touring and the recording. Then the final argument began over something that on its own seemed kind of small. Liam had started his clothing line called Pretty Green. He wanted advertising space in the Oasis tour program and he wanted it for free. Noel did not agree to this. He felt it was not right to use the band's audience to promote Liam's own business on the side. The disagreement started there and kept going. It became about more than the program. It touched on the question of what the band existed for and whose interests came first. Because the resentment had already built up over years of public comments and canceled shows, this one disagreement was enough to push everything over the edge. They were scheduled to play Rock on Seine, the largest festival outside Paris, on August 28, 2009. Backstage before the show, the argument over the program started again. According to what Noel described later, it turned physical fast. Liam came into the dressing room and the situation escalated. He threw a plum across the room that smashed against the wall. Then he went to his own room, picked up one of Noel's guitars and came back swinging it. Noel got hold of the guitar and put it down on the floor to stop it. The other members of the band were in the room at the time and they did not step in. They stood and watched while it happened. Noel decided he was finished after that. He left the venue, sat in the car outside for about 10 minutes, and then left for good. 2 hours later, a statement appeared on the Oasis website. He wrote that it was with some sadness and great relief that he was quitting the band. He said he simply could not go on working with Liam a day longer. The show that night was canceled and Oasis was over. What came next was 16 years in which the 2 brothers barely spoke. There were occasional public comments, some of them sharp, and stories about messages that went through other family members, but each of them continued with solo work, and the comparisons never really stopped, and the thing they had built together stayed off the table. Fans kept asking about a reunion, but the people involved knew why it wasn't happening. The split had been complete. And then in 2025, they played the stadium tour that sold out across multiple countries. The shows went ahead and the old problems did not stop them this time. And now a new documentary is coming out in September this year with rehearsal footage and that first joint interview. It shows the band working together again after all the years apart. The records that came out at the start and the ones made when the band was still new and the songs were arriving quickly are the ones that stayed with people. Those albums were the reason the crowds kept coming back even after the later troubles. The difficulties in later years did not erase what those early records had already done. Sometimes the music outlasts the reasons the people who made it stopped working together.